Before victorious, before unleashed, before rise, before awake, before comatose, before collide, before alien youth, and before invincible, came the Christian rock band Skillet's second studio album entitled Hey You, I Love Your Soul. Bam! What's up, guys? My name's David Lampman. I'm a worship leader and a Christian artist who was challenged by a friend to share with you the top 10 most influential albums of my life. So let's dive in, shall we? The world, as we know it, had not ended. It was the year 2000, and I was a senior in middle school at the time. My mom invited me to a church concert, but this was being promoted as rather a beach bash or a luau. So I said, sure, I'll go, Mom. Can I bring some friends? She said, yes. As she went to drop us off, we got out of the car, and then I heard these loud vocals coming from the distance that were like, lay down on my face, yeah. My tongue hanging out to taste, yeah. And I was like, my heart was racing. I had never been to anything like this before. I was stoked, guys. And then as I walked closer, as the trees passed, I saw the stage, but then I saw surrounding the stage was a parking lot filled with dump trucks full of sand. They turned this place into a beach. There were volleyball nets up and inflatable beach balls that were flying around and hitting people in the face. And then there was the band on the stage. I saw this dude on the lead microphone that had like curly blonde hair drooped in front of his face. He had shiny clothing and this bass guitar with green and blue flames that were glittery on it. The chick on the keyboards looked completely gothic with platform boots. She was surrounded by these metal racks holding keyboard after keyboard. The drummer was a chick as well. The other guitar player had some kind of emo haircut going on. I was like, what did I just walk into? I did not realize that this was going to change my life. And so as soon as the band started playing, this is what I heard. I love this, guys. I love this. It's just, the bass is building. And Alright, so as you can imagine, I was completely stoked at the time. People were mosh pitting around me, and I did not feel like I was at a church right then and there. But the coolest part of the story, guys, and probably one of the coolest moments of my life, is right now. After the band was done, I walked up to the table to meet them, and I got to spend what seemed like a few hours with John, the lead singer. And his wife, Corey, the keyboard player, ended up taking a stroll with my sister for like an hour. You know, they talked about, the trials of being a teenage girl. They talked, she helped my sister through some darkness she was dealing with at the time. And even after that, kept in touch through social media outlets like MySpace. Meanwhile, I'm with the lead singer, John, and I say hello, and he sounds immediately foreign to me. He's got an accent, and that was really awesome. He's not from around here. And then I found out, he's from the South, from Tennessee. They're Tennessee-based. And he had shared with me a Bible verse. And this was the first Bible verse I'd ever really heard. And this comes from Matthew 11:28. And this is when Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart. My yoke is easy and my burden is light." And I didn't care. Okay, I just saw this concert and I wanted to have it. Okay, I wanted to be a rock star. And after that concert, I tried to recreate it as much as I could. I didn't have money to buy CDs at the show, so the following Christmas, my mom ended up buying me the Skillet album, Hey You, I Love Your Soul, as well as the next one called Invincible. There's me holding Hey You, I Love Your Soul and Invincible. And then here's the ticket from actually the next year when I went and saw Skillet a second time at a church called All Shores in Spring Lake, where Skillet played with Pillar and Justified. on the Alien Youth Tour. But I wanted this experience. I wanted to create that. I saw the power coming from the stage and just people listening to this dude. And so, you know, let's start with the lyrics. When I got those CDs, okay, I was in my room and I was opening up those lyric booklets like I talked about in my previous 2 videos. And I was just studying those lyrics. And I saw the word love sprinkled all over those songs. And I had no idea what that was, except between, you know, I had felt like I was in love with girls all the time, like throughout high school, middle school, and even in elementary school. I'm like, man, love is this feeling for a female. And and I would sing those songs alone in my room to like the imaginary version of the girl I had a crush on. Like, I'm not embarrassed, I'm not ashamed to tell you guys this. I was way off, okay? These songs were about, they were worship songs about the love of Jesus, but I had no idea at that point in my life. And so what this album did for me, it was super special because it was the only CD I owned that was released by a band that I saw in person. And not only that, but got to hang out with. So I started a band called Sonic Underground with a couple of my friends from the trailer park. Why Sonic Underground? Because we were obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog. We did 2 things. We covered Skillet songs, and then we took music from Sonic Adventure on Sega Dreamcast and wrote our own songs. So we did our first show in the trailer park across the street. It was at the clubhouse, and our stage was on the sidewalk that was between the parking lot and the building itself. I remember the backdrop was actually these large windows through which you can see the community pool. And we successfully did a show, and this is actually what I looked like when I did that show. Here's me holding my bass guitar. I'm wearing Hot Topic clothing. I've got a spike collar. I've got platform boots that you're not going to see because it's cut off. But you can see the influence that this band had on me. I've got a drum set behind me. I've got 2 guitars on the wall under that wretched South Park poster. And then I've got the keyboard down in the bottom corner on top of the Squier bass amp. And so there I had it. I had completed my first show. I was jazzed up, and I really recognized this power that music had to draw an audience, to hear me, and I felt like I had worth. Another thing that happened was I picked a song from this album and performed it my senior year in middle school at a talent show. Now, talent shows are all about us, right? Look at me. So, again, way off from the original intent of their songs, but it was an amazing moment where I was actually singing through a PA system and working on what I'm wearing for shows and getting a band together. And it was really, really awesome. You know, if we back up to the sound of this band, I hadn't really heard anything growing up other than Guns N' Roses, Collective Soul, Poison, Ozzy Osbourne. My stepdad was heavily into 9 Inch Nails and Mortal Kombat. So I would hear this Mortal Kombat soundtrack over and over and over again. So I not only developed a recognition of like hard rock with fuzzy, distorted guitars, but also was intrigued by the techno industrial sounds that were laced throughout songs. And so, as you can imagine, when I heard this band Skillet, I was like, wow, that is amazing. I gotta go after that. And so, you know, there are a lot of things that I got from this album and that have contributed towards my music career up until today. But if you don't remember anything about this video, I always share one thing to take away that I want you to remember. But I'm going to share 2. The first thing is that God is a pursuing God. Okay, I can look back on points in my life when he was coming after me and I had no idea, right? I can look back on moments where he was protecting me before I even knew who he was. And the second thing is, guys, if your mom invites you to a youth concert, make sure you go, because it could be life-changing. Alright guys, this was the 3rd video in a series about the top 10 most influential albums of my life. I hope you had a good time. Again, my name is David Lampman. Deuce.